Double game week 34 is finally here, and in today's video I'm going to showcase my free hit team for this double game week. Wasting no time and diving straight into my team, we're going to go for Raya in goal. I think he probably is going to be the best goalkeeper pick this week. Obviously, in terms of save points, he doesn't pick up too many, but Arsenal defensively over the course of this season have been excellent. Barring Sunday's maybe anomaly result against Aston Villa, they're still up there for XG conceded, still up there for clean sheets as well. And the other goalkeepers this game week, obviously there's Dean Henderson from Crystal Palace, but I expect him maybe to keep one clean sheet. It honestly would not surprise me to see Arsenal keep 2 clean sheet. As well, on DraftHound's predicted kind of clean sheet model, Arsenal are leading the way as well. A 60% probability for a clean sheet against Wolves as well. So I think it's very good going for Raya and our first defender as well. It is going to be Gabriel. We're going for the double up. I just can't predict which midfielders are going to get more minutes. Kai Havertz is the one that interests me, but to be honest, I think I would prefer going for the double up. Raya and Gabriel. Both of these guys as well are above Havertz, 4 predicted points, and Martin Odegaard as well, 4 predicted points in this game week. So I think that is kind of the key basis of why I'm going for this double defense. They're such a good defense. They pick up points pretty consistently as well in terms of that. And I just can't kind of decide which midfielder I want to go for, Havertz or Odegaard. It's a little bit of a split, so I think I'm just going to go for the safe option and go for that double up in defense. Moving on to our next defender, it is going to be Muniz from Crystal Palace. He had a very impressive performance against Liverpool, and since joining the Eagles, he has played 90 minutes every single week. I know a lot of people have also been looking at Tyreek Mitchell as well. I think both are fantastic options. If you look at their heat maps since the new manager has joined, they're pretty identical as well, playing in the wing back positions in a 5 at the back system. Like I said, West Ham, I could see them getting a clean sheet. Newcastle have been up there. I think they're the 3rd or 4th best attack in terms of XG over the past 5 game weeks as well, so I wouldn't be expecting too much out of that one. But both home games for Crystal Palace, so who knows, he might pick up 2 clean sheets, but I think 1 over 2 is more likely for him. Moving on to our final defender, it is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. Originally, I did have Virgil van Dijk, but we've made that switch to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Bradley has been confirmed to be out for 3 weeks, so I think that bodes well for Trent's kind of, starting position within that Liverpool side. We're obviously going to see how many minutes he has to play in the Europa League for Liverpool against Atalanta on Thursday. That could again sway this decision, and we could be back on Virgil van Dijk. But with Liverpool not keeping a clean sheet since game week 21, I'm a little hesitant on bringing in a defender just for clean sheet points when they're not getting them. I'd rather gamble, play it a little bit risky, and hope that Trent Alexander-Arnold could pick up a goal or an assist. And if he does get a clean sheet, we are on for a mega haul as well. We've all seen what he's capable of in the past. My only concern is his minutes, whether or not he's going to see a substantial amount over the double game week and see out both games. But yeah, I think he is the better pick, him and Robertson, over Virgil van Dijk this week. Liverpool defensively, their data is okay, but like I said, no clean sheets since game week 21. They're playing Fulham, who are up there. I think they're the fifth best attack over the past 5 game weeks. And Everton, it's a derby game. Anything could happen in that one. Moving on to our midfield, we're going to start off with Ben Brereton Diaz. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what the bloody hell have you got a Sheffield United player in this team for? Well, let me talk you through it. He's a super low-owned player. He's playing 2 of the worst defences in the league. Manchester United are currently sat bottom for XG conceded over the past 5 game weeks as well. Since joining the Premier League, he's got 4 goals in 8 games, and over the past 5 game weeks, 2 goals and 1 assist. And Sheffield United's performance on the pitch and from a data perspective as well have massively improved. Him and Ollie McBurney have been the key influences for that Sheffield United side, so I'm very happy to have him in my team as a differential. I think he could be a great little pickup, hopefully gets me some good rank points, and maybe makes it worth free hitting in 34. I never thought I'd say that with Ben Brereton Diaz, but here we are. Moving on to our next midfielder, it is going to be Eze. I'm very, very happy to have him. I think he should be a staple of everybody's free hit team. Obviously, the big debate is around whether or not going for him or Michael Olise. Michael Olise has just come back from a long-term injury, so I think he might see a little bit less minutes than Eze. Some people have also spoke about the double up. I'm not overly convinced. Crystal Palace, in terms of their expected data over the course of the season, pretty mid-table. Nothing too exciting to kind of warrant a double up, especially with some of the other quality we've got going in midfield areas. So I think Eze is the one over Elise. But let me know which way you're thinking down in the comments section below. Moving on to our next midfielder, it is going to be Luis Diaz. He's been pretty okay. 3 attacking returns in the past 5 game weeks for Liverpool. It does seem like his minutes are a little bit more secure than the likes of Darwin Núñez. That is why we've gone with Luis Diaz. Obviously, Diego Jota is back, and there is the big debate whether or not to go for Diaz or Jota, but very similar situation to what's happening with Elise. I think that Diaz will see more minutes. I'm predicting 120, 130 maybe minutes. With Diego Jota, I think is probably going to see between 45 and 60 minutes over the double game week. We'll have to see how they line up again in the Europa League, see what lineup Klopp goes for. Realistically, that game is dead and buried, so maybe he just cancels it off and just calls it there, but I can't see Jurgen Klopp doing that. Interestingly as well, Luis Diaz is up there as one of the highest predicted points players for this game week as well. Another reason he has made the team this week. Moving on to one of the potential captains for this game week. Now, right at the end of the video, we are going to talk about my top captaincy picks with my team, but one of them is going to be Mohamed Salah. If you've watched him from a kind of eye test perspective over the past few weeks, it's not been great. It really hasn't. That Crystal Palace game, it felt like he kind of drifted through it. Tyreek Mitchell had his card marked as well, so it was a little bit frustrating to watch, especially when we're potentially considering this player for this game week. But in terms of data, it's pretty good. It's genuinely pretty good, as we'll come on to see in the captaincy section, as is Liverpool's team data as well. They're up there for XG created over the past 5 game weeks as well, and over the course of the season, Liverpool have been a very good attack in that metric as well. So maybe it's just a little bit of a blip, and one of these teams could get an absolute thumping in this double game week, and maybe we're overthinking this captaincy decision. But like I said, we'll come on to talk about that at the end of the video. Finishing up the midfield, we're going to go with Saka from Arsenal. Only 1 goal in his past 5 game weeks, so a little bit of a concern, but I took a look at his data against Aston Villa. It was all right. It was okay. It was okay. I think he's just one of those players I'm going to have because the people that aren't free hitting, they're all going to have him. So I think it's more of out of a fear of FOMO, or maybe just kind of holding on rank a little bit, maybe something like that. So I think that's the reason I'm going to go for Bukayo Saka. He is a penalty taker as well, and all it takes is one dodgy decision to go his way or Arsenal's way. You could very easily see them winning the Wolves game, and I think the Chelsea game has the potential to be a Premier League classic. So that's why we've gone for Saka. Finishing up our attacking line, we're going to go for 2 forwards. I've seen some people with 3, with Mateta thrown in there. But like I said with Eze, Crystal Palace's attacking data isn't overly exciting, so that's the reason I've gone without Mateta. I'm going with Dominic Solanke, 17 Premier League goals. He's 3rd for XG created amongst all players so far this season, on penalties as well, and it is a great double. In terms of chances scoring as well, he's very much up there from Draft Hound's model, as in terms of predicted points as well. He is one of the leading lights in predicted points for this game week, and again, he does make a feature in our captaincy section, so we will have a longer discussion about Dominic Solanke's potential influence with the armband this week. Finishing up, we're going to go with Cunha from Wolves. He's a player I've always admired for a long time since his Hertha Berlin days. An okay-ish double for Wolves. Arsenal's going to be a little bit difficult, but the pressure is now on them to go and win some games. Also, they will have just played in the Champions League second leg against Bayern Munich as well, so there might be potentially some jaded legs in that one, and maybe Wolves could overturn them. Then they've got the Bournemouth game. Bournemouth defensively, a little bit unsure kind of how to judge them. They're pretty much mid-table for XG conceded, so I could see Cunha going and getting some points there in that one. Obviously, off the back of a brace at the weekend, we've already seen what he can do earlier in the season as well, as he picked up a hat-trick. So I think he is a much better pick than going for Mateta. Let's have a quick run through of the bench before we do move on to captaincy. We've got Onana. Probably the other goalkeeper would be Pickford if I was to pick one and was being fussy, but Everton's defensive performance last night against Chelsea did put me off that move. Mateta, like I said, Crystal Palace's expected data isn't the best going forward, and I prefer the other players we've got in the starting lineup. Ait Nouri potentially could make it in if we find out that he's going to be fully fit and available for double game week 34, I think I would play him over Muniz. He's playing out of position. If he gets an attack in return and sneaks a clean sheet, he is on for some mega haul money points there. And then finally, James Tarkowski on the bench. He's a little bit of a nothing kind of player. I'm not too kind of invested in that third defensive spot. That was the team. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section, and let's move on to my captain for this game week. Moving on to the captaincy decision. Now, it is a big one this week. I think the obvious candidate is going to be Mohamed Salah. He has the best fixtures out of all these players. He is the prime kind of asset, the most expensive asset that I do have kind of identified so far with my free picks. And you know what? Like I said, looking at his data, 4 expected goals and only 2 goals scored. Him and Liverpool have been underperforming on the XG over the past few weeks. So maybe this could be the week that they break that duct. Maybe a little bit of the pressure as well, if they do crash out of the Europa League, will be lifted off them. Obviously, I feel there's been such amount of pressure placed on them with it being Jurgen Klopp's last season, trying to get as many trophies as possible. Maybe this could be the catalyst for something positive. Like I said, though, the data is definitely there, definitely positive for Mohamed Salah and Liverpool. It's just his on-field eye test performances. They're not looking great, are they? And I think maybe that is starting to weigh into people's minds and potentially some people's decision making with their captaincy as well. For me, I think he is the safe option if you're looking from a data standpoint this week. He's top of predicted points. The data set is really good, and I think his predicted minutes as well are going to be pretty good this game week. So from a data standpoint, he is my #1 pick. Now, if you wanted to look for differentials, I think there's a few options, but I've outlined these two. We're going to start with Dominic Solanke. Obviously picked up a goal against Manchester United, an okay double as well. Very high on the predicted points model for Draft Hound, as is his percentage chance of scoring this game week. His overall data over the past 5 has been a little bit mucky, but over the course of the season has been a very, very solid asset, a very reliable asset as well for goals and assists over the course of the season. 17 Premier League goals for him as well. An okay-ish double for Bournemouth as well, and I feel he's massively going under the radar. I've seen some teams without him even in it, never mind potentially giving him the armband, but we'll have to come and see on that one. Like I said, I think I'm still going to stick with Mohamed Salah. He makes more sense from a data standpoint than Dominic Solanke, but it would not surprise me to see Solanke get at least 2 goals in this game week. Now, the final one, I don't know what I was drinking when I thought of this, but it is Ben Burton Diaz. Now, they are playing 2 of the worst defences in the league. They're playing Burnley, and Manchester United. United have been conceding goals for fun. It would not surprise me to see Sheffield United score at Old Trafford. A man who's been involved in a lot of the goals recently for Sheffield United as well has been Ben Burton Diaz, in terms of goals, in terms of creativity as well. Like I said, in his 8 Premier League games, he's scored 4 Premier League goals. Yes, the data isn't overly impressive from the past 5 game weeks, but he plays for Sheffield United. And I think that shows how consistent he has been, or maybe a little bit lucky in terms of getting his goals, but he's getting them. And maybe I'm going a little bit delusional here, but I do have to start looking a little bit different with my captaincy picks for this week. Potentially, if I want to break into that top 100k, we had a really good game week 33. If we do want to go and break into that top 100k or even push the top 50k, maybe I do have to think a little bit outside the box, but maybe just having him enough is going to be a valid option. Like I said, I think Salah is still the very sensible pick if you want to go down that route, and I think that is the route I'm going to go down. I just wanted to highlight some of the other captaincy choices running through my mind at the moment. If you're unsure who you should be captaining, or you need any advice on your free hit team this week, get it in the comments section, as I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.